All right, we're back on sports, and let me say this now. It's been a very, very disappointing week for Philadelphia sports. Not all sports across the board, but Philadelphia sports. We will talk about it today. However, before I get started, I know a lot of Eagles fans are very upset, very salty this Monday, having a bad Monday morning, especially since they didn't get their free Dunkin' Donuts because the Eagles didn't win. But there's one other Philadelphia sports figure that has it worse today than the rest of us.
Alright, turn around. Alright, you good, you good. Jury duty is that way, sir. Straight double round door. Thank you.
How's the video for that? I know. I just want to say that like
Your jury duty.
oh no, that's a photo op.
All right, there you go. Good job. Good job. Good job.
That's right. The Philly Fanatic has jury duty over there at 13th and Filbert. Now, of course, we know that, the Philly Fanatic will be dismissed. But if he's not dismissed, do you know how much of a joke this would be? It would almost be like that episode from The Simpsons. We don't need that. I'll put it like this. This is a bad day for a number of people, especially if you're Eagles fans, all right? Because let's be honest here, all right? Monday morning, you got jury duty. The Eagles lose on Sunday, so you don't get your free Dunkin' Donuts that Monday morning and then have to go into jury duty. God bless the Philly Fanatic for trying to make it somewhat fun, trying to brighten those people's day up. No one wants to be in jury duty on a Monday. Are you serious? So yeah, that's a bad Monday to start. It just is, okay? But let's move on to other bad starts, shall we? Shall we do that? Okay, let's talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. Yeah, Philadelphia Flyers real quick. Now, over the weekend, all right, because we know start of the season or whatever, everyone's getting ready, gearing up. Friday didn't play that bad. We went out there and we beat the Kings. I didn't have a problem with the way the Flyers played the Kings because let's be honest here. When you have to play teams like the Ducks and the Kings and stuff like they're very fast teams. You know what I mean? They keep grinding on you. They keep going at you. It's a completely different pace than what we play usually. Okay, so I didn't have a problem with the way they played the Kings. They beat the Kings. I'm okay with that. My hat's off to you, all right? It was on Saturday, the way they played the Coyotes, that bothered me. Seriously, penalties on top of penalties on top of penalties. You would think I'd be talking about the Eagles right now when we talk about penalties. Flyers, how do you get, and I have to say this, how do you get 2 back-to-back penalties for too many men on the ice? How is that possible? Where is the discipline? Once again, I could be talking about the Eagles right now. Where's the discipline? It's unbelievable, all right, that you went out there and you played the Coyotes and then you lose the way you did, all right? It's disgusting. It just is, all right? Because the penalties is what did you in. That's what it really was. And having to have Mason out there pretty much stand on his head time after time after time trying to PK. No. You shouldn't have to happen. I'm just saying. I understand I need to step off the gas a little bit because it's just the beginning of the season. But you would think by now that the discipline with these players, and it's not just because, they have preseason to get this over. They've been playing hockey their entire lives. They know how many men need to be on the ice. They know when to switch off and stuff like that. Come on. This is not the first rodeo. You know what I mean? Come on. But it's really bothersome to me. But I understand it's just the beginning of the season. There's a lot of things that need to work out. I believe we play the Blackhawks next, which will be a very interesting game. As we know, the Blackhawks love to play fast, and fucking Patrick Kane loves, like I said before, pond hockey. And they're still staying with this style. Patrick Kane does it all the time, 1-on-5. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I don't understand this. But whatever. That's what Patrick Kane likes to do. We will see what happens when they play the Blackhawks, okay? Let's move on to the embarrassment. That's right, the embarrassment of the Philadelphia Eagles. So, you go into a winnable game again, all right? After what happened with the Detroit Lions, which was a winnable game, and you only lost by 1 point. Fine. Okay, we're over that, right? All right. So we go in there to the Redskins. And you let the Redskins just absolutely run you over. They railroaded you. All right? What did I say on Twitter? I said, y'all have to understand that the Redskins' defensive front is very good when it comes to pass rushing. A lot of people give them credit for the run stopping, but as we've seen over the seasons, people have run all over them, even though they got some big bodies out there. But their pass rushing, people don't give them enough credit for. This is why I distinctly said that, you have to watch out for the pass rush. That's why I said, not the run stop, but the pass rush, okay? That's what I said. What happened during that game? Carson Wentz, sacked. Carson Wentz getting destroyed. Carson Wentz couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, could he? No. Our quarterback barely had time. And then when he did have time, he was looking down the field too long because he's looking for big plays, and he's holding the ball too long. It happens, all right? But the pass rush was very effective for Carson Wentz. Also, what did I say on Twitter? If you get one-on-ones with those receivers, because their defensive front is tough. Their secondary can be exposed. One-on-ones, they can't do a damn thing out there in their secondary. So as far as I'm concerned, they can be beat. And what happened when they finally got some one-on-ones? What happened? They were being exposed, right? Okay, now, I have to talk about this first half, all right? Defense did not show up. Offense struggled, so once again, this almost felt like it was a replay of the Lions game because the defense was just like what's going on here. And the offense had to carry the defense on their back. But the offense couldn't get anything going until the second half, as we know, second half adjustments, all right? But you also have to understand that we had some problems with refereeing.
To the end zone. Again looking for Deshaun Jackson. And again, it is Mills on the coverage and a late hit on Cousins. There's a flag. We're going to get Fletcher Cox for roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer. Defense, number 91. After distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Now, here's the question that I have to the referees, okay? Because it wasn't just the refs that screwed us every time, because let's be honest here. It did happen again where we did make some plays, and as soon as we made big plays, we got momentum, here come the penalties. But they're not the only reason why, but I do need to ask the refs, because a lot of people said this was a clean hit. And I have to say this as well, because I put it like this. Referees, you're calling roughing the passer. But at what point are you calling roughing the passer? Because you're not going into detail. And I'll explain, okay? Is it that Fletcher Cox took too many steps? Is it because he hit the quarterback at the time he did? Or is it the fact that he drove him into the ground afterwards? So, which can be chalked up to momentum. There's three factors here on what you're calling pass interference on, and you're not telling anybody why. It's blanketed. Even the commentators were like, I really don't see it, but they could call it three different ways, but they're not telling us what. And of course, even after the game, they didn't explain why they called it. So once again, it's in the momentum, in the heat of the moment. It's not like he threw the ball and it was really late and he hit him, then you can call that, okay? But no, it's in the time period. So he's hitting him, but he's taking a couple of steps, and then he falls forward. Could be chalked with momentum. You could say he drove him into the ground. It depends. It really does. So I need some answers here. So until I get those answers, I'm going to say this is a legit football play. This is a clean hit. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. All right? Now, like I said, referees, they did this to us again all day. They did. Every time we got momentum, because I'll put it like this. The Eagles have problems with momentum. It was hard for them to even get into rhythm to do something offensively. When they finally do something offensively, what happens? Flag. 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 That's all it was. Flag fest. Just like last week. Now, I will say this. Defense, you got steamrolled. You got destroyed. Secondary, you got a turnover. You had one pick. Okay, we're okay with that. Special teams did their job, and they went and scored a touchdown, so, they tried to, compensate for everything. But you have to understand that flag on top of flag on top of flag. Look, at one point, you can't keep blaming the refs, especially with the way the Redskins played, all right? They played as if it was purpose. They played with momentum. They absolutely went out there and punched us in the mouth. That's what they did. So you got to give the Redskins credit for doing what they were supposed to do, okay? On top of that, outplayed, outcoached. Yes, I'm saying it. Outplayed, outcoached. Now, when offense finally does get the ball, okay, you have to understand that even during later in the game, all right, they're putting things together. They're actually looking well. But when you get into into their zone, what are you doing? You're kicking field goals, and you're constantly trying to catch up. All right? The Redskins, at one point, they were up by 10. So you kick the field goal, you cut it down to 7, Redskins go back up by 10 because the defense can't stop anybody. Again. So you get back there, you get down there, we have to kick another field goal. So you're constantly down by 10. You're not catching up. You're just trying to pretty much stop the damage, stop the leaking, because the defense can't do their damn job. Matter of fact, let's look at time of possession and yardage gain when it comes to these things. defense getting manhandled. So from now on, all right, from now on, I don't want to see any celebrating because, as you guys were telling me, Marios, he was celebrating. We're down by 7 points and he's celebrating. I don't understand this either. I don't. No celebrating. I don't want to see any Fletcher Cox, stairs and doing all this stuff. I don't want to see any of that, all right? We have gotten beaten by two teams that we should have beaten, all right, for 2 weeks in a row. That means now that we're going into the game with Minnesota, we have no momentum. We have lost 2 in a row, no momentum, which this game is going to be very challenging because if you thought the Washington defense was tough, wait till we get them, when we play Minnesota. Wait till you see their defense. This is, like I said before, this is a test. This game is going to be a test. So you got to be kidding me that the Eagles at this point should be feeling great about themselves. I understand you have to have short memories when it comes to this type of stuff, but you can't forget how you played because it will carry over to next week. It will. So as far as I'm concerned, this team looked horrible. All right, I do want to give them credit for somewhat coming back. I do. All right, because they did fight. They fought to come back, and there was a time where they had a chance. Like I said, if they didn't kick fucking field goals, this wouldn't have been a problem. All right, they would have been in contention. But once again, kicking field goals, trying to catch up, it hurts you in the long run. It does. I understand you got to get some points out of it. You have to. But we need touchdowns. That's what we need. All right? You got to be able to do that. And it seems like there were certain plays that I'm watching that make no sense. I understand at 3rd and 15, you're going to run the ball. I get it. For those who do not understand why they run the ball at 3rd and 15 or whatever, they're not trying to get a first down. They're not trying to, okay? What they're trying to do is get as much yardage as possible before they punt. That is the plan. It seems like a lot of people still don't understand that. While I don't like to see it, I understand why they're doing it. So what they're doing is they're sacrificing a down in order to get better field position to kick, to punt the ball. And then hopefully defense will stop them. But as we know in this game, defense wasn't stopping a damn thing. That's the problem. So it was a very hard game to watch. It was. I wouldn't say it was a very emotional game to watch. I wouldn't say that. All right? I can see people getting upset watching this game and the Eagles just getting run over. But after you saw the first half and then you saw the adjustments in the defense, even in the fourth quarter, we're still not stopping. I mean, late in the fourth quarter, you're letting the Redskins run 20, 30 yards on you. Like, what? And look, the Redskins were only running the ball at the end of the game to chew up the clock. That's what they were doing. As you saw in the stats not too long ago, you saw they were killing us in the clock when it came to the second half. Wentz didn't get on the field for a very long time. It was like 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes, something like that, into the third quarter. He didn't, like I said, the Redskins kept the defense on the field. That's what they're doing. But then late in the fourth quarter, defense isn't stopping them either. They're not even trying to stop them. No, just let them run. Let them run all over the damn place. So yeah, the defense was atrocious, I should say. Horrible. But the offense, even though they need to put this team on their back and try to do something, they could only do but so much, and they didn't play that great either. All right, so let's not act like they did. Now, the question is, when it comes to the offense or even the defense, the team in general, you have to ask yourself: have the Lions, what they did last week, did they show a blueprint to all the other teams in the NFL on how to handle the Eagles? That's the question. All right, because like I said, watching the Redskins game was almost a blueprint to what happened, with the Lions game. So I'm wondering if that's what it was. Almost like a replay. So, here's the thing. See, a lot of people now talking about Lane Johnson, okay? A lot of people, you guys, had asked me, should he be traded? Should he be let go? What would you do with Lane Johnson, all right? And also with Big V. I'll explain, okay? First off, Lane Johnson should be cut. All right? He's officially suspended. This is his second time. And mind you, this is his third strike here in Philadelphia. And I say this because he got caught with PEDs the first time, right? And then what happened? He bagged on the fans. That's strike 2 right there. Bagged on the fans and then tried to apologize for it. And a lot of us, especially myself, was like, no, we don't want your apology because you're already a cheater to begin with the first, the first offense. So that was strike 2. Then strike 3 is now with the other PEDs. So as far as I'm concerned, time for him to go. I don't know why you'd hold on to him. Now, a lot of people said this is Lane Johnson's fault because Big V goes in there and he gets destroyed. Now, I'll put it like this. He's a rookie, all right? He's a rookie. He got destroyed. And I'll put it like this as well. He's not ready for this because we all asked him, is he ready? No, he's not ready. He's definitely not ready. And you know what? It's really interesting that a number of people didn't understand that he wasn't ready. So I'll let the guys over at CSN, that's right, the pros, talk about how and why he wasn't ready. Because I got some things that I agree with this, and some things I disagree with as well.
He gets out there, and I'm thinking, where the heck was that? You know, were they misassessing their player, or were they just trying to keep everything calm?
I think they had a lot of confidence in him, but, you know, in order to go out there and play, you have to go out there and get reps. And he didn't play a lot in the preseason, and when he did get out there, he did show some progress. He did show some progress to them in practice. But at the end of the day, I can remember coming as a rookie, and I started my rookie year. I started my first 6 years of my career. And going out there my rookie year, I played in every single snap of the preseason before going into that first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Every single snap. My coaches made sure I was ready to play by playing every snap in the preseason. Not just the starters, but I played the second team and I played the third team. I played every single rep. We're talking about 7 days in which they tried to get a guy prepared to go against a guy like Ryan Kerrigan and the rest of his defense. Not only was he not ready for the speed of the game, he wasn't ready for the power. It was simple power rushes that he was beating him on. Yeah. He didn't know that the power that Kerrigan had pressing him back. And then for them not to give him enough help out there on the island. See, when you're an offensive tackle, you play the game backwards and you play it on an island. And when you're out there, it's hard. You're hard pressed to think that you can go out, stop him from going on the inside, stop him going from the outside, and then stop him going straight over you without being ready as far as game type situation. He wasn't ready for a game type situation because he didn't do it. He didn't dress for the first 4 games.
Yeah.
4 games he did not dress.
And yeah.
Now I'll agree with majority of that, but not everything. So I'm going to break this down by the numbers, okay? Now you know the reason why he was beat, okay? I want to address football fans in general who say this type of stuff. Eagles fans have said it in the past too. So I have to ask you, how you feel about that preseason now? What did I tell you before about how preseason matters? Where guys are fighting for spots, guys are fighting for reps. Why? This is the reason why you plan for this, because when things like this happen with Lane Johnson and you got to bring in another guy, he'll be ready. The fact that he didn't have that much of a great preseason, because he didn't really play much, and he wasn't dressed for 4 games, and then you try and plug in to play him a couple days before the game, yeah, that's not going to go well. It's not, okay? Guy wasn't ready for the speed of the game. Guy wasn't ready for the power of the game. Guy doesn't have the experience to take on a Kerrigan. So you know how this was going to go, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, you have to look at coaching. That's right. So number 1, preseason. Number 2, coaching. For them to think that this would have been okay is wrong. I don't care how much you think you have so much confidence in this guy, all right? Or, even if it's arrogance at one point and say, yeah, he can do it and we don't have to think about things, it's absolutely wrong. So you have to look at your coaches on this one, okay? Because he didn't get enough time. And then, like I said, once again, plug in and play, it doesn't work. Preseason is vital, all right, for those who don't believe it is for some weird reason, all right? Preseason is vital. And also, your coaching right now. As I said, I can see why the players have a lack of discipline because of the coaching decision that's going on, all right? That's the thing. Now, I should also say that you have to understand, okay, that number 3 is going to be the big thing, all right? And it's something I disagree with, okay? Number 3. He said that, he didn't get enough help. He didn't get enough help. Look, all right? Max Protect can only do but so much to help this guy and your quarterback, okay? Only can do but so much because you're also taking other pieces, other threats that could be on the field, because they're blocking as opposed to actually catching the damn ball, all right? Let's remember that, all right? Let's also remember that this man gets paid to play this position. He cannot have his hand held the entire time. So if he blows a play, guess what? It's on him. You can't say that you didn't give him enough help. He's got to be out there. Like you said, he's on an island. He's got to learn on his own. You can't keep holding his hand because it handicaps your offense when you do something like that. I very much disagree with that. I'm not trying to hear that he didn't have enough help. All right? I'm not trying to hear that. All right? Like I said, plug it and play. Next man has to stand up. That's what it is. And you have to deal with that. So those are the 3 things that I have a problem with this. Now, like I said, I want to go back to what people say about, should we make a trade or whatever. I feel you cut Lane Johnson, right? I'm all for a quality trade if it gives us that, that piece that we need. But if not, I would say don't even look at trades right now. I would say go look in the free agency pool and see what's there and test it and see what's there. Because clearly Big V's not ready. You got to go get someone who's experienced. You have to, all right? I don't care if they have to split reps during that time. You know what I mean? And make sure that it's the right read. Because, as you know, players come off and on the field all the time when they're calling certain plays. You got to make sure that your matchups are there. So you got to make the right matchups. Like I said, this is what watching film is for, all right? So you know who you're going up against, that week, that upcoming week. You know what's going to be a problem. You know the formation that they're going to run, so you know exactly what personnel to put in. These are things that happen, as we're talking right now, that they should be watching film. This is something that happens in football. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, you have to go test free agency. Listen, get rid of Lane Johnson. See your ass. Bye. Get out of here. You know what I mean? Test free agency, bring in a guy who can help, like I said, split reps. Not hold his hand, but split reps to stop the leaking. That's what it is, all right? Yeah, it's a quick patch, a quick fix, but it's better than what we have now. That's what you need to do, Eagles, as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, a lot of people have been freaking out over the Eagles and saying, this was horrible. Look, we're 3-2, all right? We're 3-2. As far as I'm not, you fans who are freaking out also said that we were only going to win one game this year. So I don't understand why you're freaking out. I really don't. It's almost like you're looking for a reason to get mad. That's what it feels like. If you already made the prediction that we ain't going to be shit this year, and then you get mad every game that we lose, no. I'm not trying to hear it. But it could be worse for Eagles fans, all right? You could be Steelers fans. For those who don't know, the Steelers lost, yesterday. And as what we're hearing now, Ben Roethlisberger more likely won't play next week against the Patriots. That's right. But the reason I say it could be worse for Eagles fans, if you're a Steelers fan, is because look at their roster on how many people are hurt. So as you can see, this is how it goes. Next man has to step up, all right? They have to take responsibility. This is why depth on your roster matters, okay? This is why. Once again, you go back to preseason. But, like I say, next man has to step up. They have to, take responsibility and, play the position that they're paid to do, okay? And they can't expect help all the time. This almost reminds me of the Giants a couple seasons ago where they were constantly hurt. And, you know what I mean? And they had to battle back. Speaking of the Giants, let's talk about them real quick. I can't fucking stand the Giants right now. Not because they're a rival, okay? That's just, as you know, playful rival talk or whatever. But no, Odell Beckham Jr., gotta talk about him again, all right? First off, you beat the Ravens, so whatever. But every time this guy scores a touchdown now, you gotta tell me that he's got to use the kicker's net as a prop? This is 2 weeks in a row now, all right? He scored a touchdown, used the kicker's net as a prop. Last week he did it, all right, when he scored a touchdown. Giants lost. Then they lost, all right. So it didn't matter. So you went out there and said, I need to smile, I need to celebrate because I scored, because it is about his ego at this point, all right? So you're smiling, you're having fun, but you're still losing football games. This week, he scored a touchdown. The same, different with the kicker's net. Giants actually win. I am so sick of this dude already. He's talented, but his head is not in the fucking game as far as I'm concerned. It's disgusting to watch. Dallas. You know what? You got to give Dallas the credit, all right? You have to, because they beat the Packers. All right, Packers is a tough team. They beat the Packers. They went out there and they did what they needed to do. Now I'll put it like this: there's a lot of talk about Dak and Romo, and look, I don't see where there needs to be a lot of talk. We're going into what, week 6? Dallas has a bye this week, right? So 6 game, was it week 6? Nah, well for us it's weird because we had our bye early, so it'll be week 5 for us technically. But week 6, all right, when it comes to game week 6, all right. I don't see why we should be talking about Romo yet. I don't see why anybody should be talking about Romo. He won't be back to what, week 8 to 10? And if so, that doesn't mean he's going to be fully healthy. He should go out there and start. No, he should sit his ass on the bench until he's really healthy. We have seen over the seasons with Romo, every time he gets hurt, they try to rush him back because it's the only quarterback they got. You have Dak, let Dak ride it out. That's as far as I'm concerned, all right? Romo can mentor him from the sidelines, all right? He can. But when you have this type of momentum with a quarterback, okay, and their team, you don't take that shit away from them. That would be absolutely horrible, all right? Let it ride for as long as it needs to. And if you feel as though the wheels are falling off, then you bring in Romo. But until then, you let Dak play. That's as far as I'm concerned. And that's from the outside looking in and seeing what Dak can do, all right? I can only imagine how real Dallas fans feel and know everything about Dak, you know what I mean? But for what I've seen during these games, let that dude play. If you bring in Romo again, you know what you're going to have? You're going to have that situation like it was on any given Sunday, where you have this guy go out there, you got Willie Beeman going out there, and then once the cap's ready, you bring him back in and he can't do the job, then you got to bring Willie back in. Don't do that. Don't do that. And the thing is, that happens a lot. We see this time and time again when it comes to football. For those who don't remember, okay? We saw it with Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady. We saw it with Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler. Did we not? Should we even bring up Frank Reich? Should we bring up that? Okay. You see this time and time again with quarterbacks and backups or rookies or whatever. You see this time and time again. And I don't even want to call him a rookie at this point. I just want to say a backup. You know what I mean? But we've seen this. It happens. It's a carousel. However, you have to understand that when you can identify these situations, what you have to do is you got to let the guy who's the hot hand play it out. That's what you have to do. All right? I want to talk about Chicago and Jacksonville. I'm not even worried about the actual game that happened. No. I want to talk about the fans. Because for those who don't know, apparently all it takes is 10 seconds of trash talking and grown men get upset.
You got a Jaguar shirt on. What are you talking about, Chicago? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, Jaguar. Go fuck yourself, Jaguar.
I'm actually going to join this guy. Why not? Fuck you, Jaguar fan, you little bitch.
Jaguar?
Yeah, fuck you,
Right,
bitch.
Jaguar?
Yeah, no, I'll join this shit.
Yourself,
Go
you
fuck
little
yourself.
fucking prick. You get down? Go fuck yourself. You get down? Little prick. You get down?
Holy shit.
Are you serious? This is what it comes down to now. What did I tell y'all before? If y'all think y'all going to get into a fight at the stadium or leaving the stadium or just at the game, keep your ass at home. Seriously, this is absolutely ridiculous that we see this. Look, this is not even trash. This is weak-ass trash talking. Fuck you. Fuck you. The guy just says it over and over. And that what sparks, people fighting. Really. That's what we get to now. It's almost like everybody that was involved in this fight have never, and I mean ever, all right, played a game, any type of competitive game. I don't care if it's street ball, street football, whatever. They say things that are 10 times worse than this to you on the court, on the field, on the ice. And guess what? You're talking shit and everyone's yelling at each other. No one's fighting. They're still playing. Because you would have proven wrong. Look, your team won. What do you care what that dude is saying, that old-ass dude is saying? He's salty as fuck. Who cares? Who cares? But instead, you let him get to you. And seriously, this is, fuck you, Jaguar. Fuck you, Jaguar. If that's the best you've got, and that's the only thing you can keep repeating, you don't have shit, all right? But apparently, that was enough to get that guy, get a rise out of the guy. I want to make sure this is very known. Jaguar fan turns around, and he says, do you get down? Now, mind you, he gets pushed first, and he still doesn't put up his hands. Jaguar fan. But also understand the stance that he's in. He's looking to come low and steal somebody. So I understand why the guy threw the punch. The punch shouldn't have been thrown, all right? This should have been broken up automatically. But the guy was just so fucking salty, so heated that his team lost. And the thing is, this is becoming the norm now, we're seeing. We're seeing this time and time again. Actually, just throughout this week. Could you imagine if you look back at the fan fights, I'll say from the previous, I'm going to say 3 seasons. All right? In general. It's becoming the norm. And it's absolutely ridiculous that these people are going to football games. I don't know if it's too much booze. I don't know if it's just, like I said, you're just salty as fuck. But that is not even really trash talking. That is bullshit. Let that man go ahead and keep talking because his team lost. If anything, it should be just, ha ha ha, y'all lost, look how salty he is. That's how you should be playing it off. But instead, you let him get to you. Like, that's crazy. That's not even worth it. He got his ass whooped by a number of guys. I don't think it took 3 or 4 guys, but I understand you hit your boy, you gonna jump in. But no, your boy should have got up and fought. One punch knocked him down, which tells me, all right, that he can't take a punch, all right? Because that punch wasn't that hard. But whatever, you know what I mean? It is what it is. The fact is, these guys are grown men, are buying tickets, going to the game. Listen, you put your jersey on. You can always be a fan. Put your jersey on, beat your chest, whatever. Your team lose, okay. But what I say every time, good game. Good game. No matter what sport I go to, hockey, football, basketball, whatever, all right? And I'm talking to rival fans. We joking, we laughing. I'm talking shit about your team. You talking shit about my team. At the end of the day, what's up? Good game, man. Talk to you later. What's the problem? What's the problem? It's sports, all right? I understand some people take it seriously, but it's not that serious to the point where you're going after fans, all right? Fan says something, we won. Okay, let them have it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's during the game where a fan is standing up, and those know what I'm talking about, all right? The fans are standing up, like at the hockey game, especially Penguins Flyers, Penguins score, they stand up and want to cheer. All right, you cheered, sit your ass down, they get ready to start playing again. And you keep standing up, you keep mocking people, even though the game's going on, yeah, then you're asking for trouble, okay? You got that time period to cheer. All right, it's done, sit down, because the game's back on. We all want to see what's going to happen. You know, you root for your team, I root for my team. That's how it works. You know what I mean? But in this case, this shouldn't even come to a fight, because this is nothing. But apparently it is. I think everyone involved are a bunch of bitches. I really feel that way. And the cameraman's like, yeah, I'm going to join in, blah, blah, blah. Oh, why didn't you join in that fight then, since you wanted to join in so much? Hardcore fan? Whatever, man. I ain't trying to hear this shit. Like, seriously, this is the stuff made of pussies right now. This is a bunch of bitch shit right now. You've got to be kidding me that that's okay. It's not whatsoever. It isn't, all right? You want to talk trash, you want to have rivals and stuff like that, that's fine. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Talk your shit, bruh. You know what I mean? But that was just... That's nothing. That's nothing. And it ended up being a fight. Whatever. Anyways, let's move on, shall we? Alright? You didn't help your buddy, though. He was on the ground, alright? You wouldn't jump in. I'm just saying. You wouldn't jump in. You didn't help your boy. Okay. Anyways, I want to move on. That's right. I need to talk about the EPL. First off, Chelsea, you went out there and you beat Leicester City. Clean sheet, 3-0. I'm okay with that. You look good, alright? Game started at what, 7:30 in the morning? I think I went to the bathroom, restroom, came back, and they had already scored one. I was like, okay, whatever. 7:30 in the morning. All right, whatever. So, watch the game. They did what they need to do. I'm not worried about Leicester City. They got a number of things they need to fix on their end. I'll let Leicester fans talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? However, now the time has come. Now the time is here. We have this week coming up. We got Man City. I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to say Man City. You know what? Maybe I'm thinking Man City because of what just happened over the weekend, but also because Man City absolutely dominated Manchester United, just like I feel Chelsea is going to dominate Manchester United. Jose Mourinho, here we go. You want all your shit you're talking. You want to talk about how you're going to win, win the whole thing this year, right? You want to talk about that. What place are you in already? What place are you in? Okay, so, like I said, long season. But then, when you come out and say this about your players, it makes me feel as though you're just going to disrespect every other team in the league. Best midfielder in the world, huh? Okay, yeah. So that means we're going up against the best in the world. As far as I'm concerned, Chelsea, this is the game. This is what he said last season about you people, all right? And not just the fans, he doesn't really talk much about the fans, but he lets those dick-riding fans, and I'm telling you now, you're going to see them during the game. You're going to have all these Chelsea fans, we miss Jose, Nah, he's the enemy now. You understand that, right? I don't care how much you miss him. The fact is, after what he said about those players last season, and he put the message out there to everyone in the league that all you got to do is score on Chelsea 1 or 2 times, and they quit on you, because that's what he did. He threw him under the bus. You know what that means? That means it's time to get serious. It means it's time for these players to say, hey, look, after everything he did to us, let's go shut him up. Let's prove him wrong. And that's what I'm looking forward to. And I also put it like this as well, okay? Manchester United fans, I'm really hoping that you realize the severity of this game, okay? Because this sets the tone. Granted, we play each other again, but this sets the fucking tone on what's going to happen. If we beat you, I don't want to hear anything, all right? I don't want to, and here's the thing with me, with this game. I don't want to see a draw. I don't want to see a draw. I don't. No, I want to see a clear-cut winner. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see, everyone played well, and we came to a draw, and technically we had time of possession, and we played better, and so we were the better team. I don't want to hear that shit. This is win or go home. That's what this situation is, all right? So, go ahead and win, Chelsea. There is no excuse. Have everyone on all cylinders running. This is the game. This is what everyone's been waiting for, especially I've been saying for how many weeks. This is the game I want to see since the beginning of the season. Since Jose Mourinho was signed at Man U. Let's do this. This is it. No more excuses. Now, we got momentum going in. Don't have a problem with that. We got momentum. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? So, Chelsea, this is it. Get all you guys ready. I don't care if you lose the next 2 games or whatever. All right, after this. Beat Manchester United, please. Beat Manchester United. Okay? I'm begging you, please. I cannot wait for this game. This game is, like I said, This better be on the biggest slot here on American TV when it comes to what they show in the EPL here. I don't want to see anything else. This is it. Nothing else matters in the EPL this week coming up until this game. All right, until this game. Nothing else, at least for me. All right, I understand if no one's not a fan of either team. I understand that. All right, but this is the game. I cannot wait to see Chelsea, and I'm begging you, Chelsea, beat them. I cannot wait to see them shut his monkey ass up. I can't wait. I am so tired of hearing this dude's mouth. And I have to keep reminding you, Manchester United fans, you know what's going to happen if you lose, right? He's going to bag on your players. Because he's already done it already. Saying that you're mentally weak. Just like he said our players were mentally weak. Really? So how have the players been playing? How have our players on Chelsea been playing since he's been gone? Mentally weak? Have we not seen that comeback not too long? Okay, all right. Mentally weak, though. Like I said, I can't wait. It's time to shut him up. Anyways, I want to move on to the Griffin Force flop of the week. That's right. And I know we're talking about soccer or football overseas, depending on how you like to, you like to acknowledge it as. But this week's flop of the week doesn't go to soccer or football. No. It goes to basketball. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Detroit Pistons. That's right. Flop of the week goes to the Pistons center, 7'2", 250 pounds? All right? You can't tell me that the guy strips the ball from you from behind, all right? He doesn't hack you, all right? You're not going up for a shot or a rebound or anything. Strips the ball from behind. It's a steal, and you fall on the ground?
On the floor, just 3 of 16 shooting here in the quarter. 16 shooting here in the quarter. 16 shooting here in the quarter. Great defense, though.
Absolutely atrocious. I can understand if he was knocked or pushed over or shouldered or something. No. The guy clearly stripped the ball from behind, out of his hands. Nothing else was touched, and you fall backwards. I am so sick of seeing this embellishment for calls, and I understand it's just the season's getting ready to start. So they're already getting in prime form to start flopping. You got to start handing out some fines. You got to start handing out some texts. If the NBA keeps this up, I'm not going to be able to watch it. And I say this from a basketball fan perspective, not a Sixers fan perspective, because they completely suck ass, but from a basketball perspective, where I can try and watch a game and try to be entertaining. It's disgusting. And if you don't believe me, what did I say before? When I said on Twitter to you Sixers fans, I said, well, you have to realize this season is something that the Sixers have not defended in the previous, I'm going to say 3 to 4 seasons maybe, and that's defending the 3. That's going to be the problem this week, because we already talked about offense, we already talked about the point guards last week, all right, how horrible they are. All right? And time management and coaching, we've all talked about that. All right? But I want to talk about the defense. I've been saying this for a number of seasons. When Doug Collins was here, they weren't playing up against the 3. And the Detroit Pistons showed exactly what I'm talking about. Granted, there's times where it's on transition. It's times where it's set up. And the players seem to still not understand what's going on when it comes to defense. So here's the thing. How is this going to get fixed, Brett Brown? I'm just wondering. For those who need more proof, let's look at the video. In transition, complete transition. Also, I want you to pay attention again to the center in Detroit as he tries to flop his way again. Oh, I got hit in the face. I don't want to hear it. You didn't get hit in the face. I don't want to hear it anymore, all right? You're a flop artist. You're trying to draw fouls. But the fact is, they are not defending the three-pointer.
One chasing down a defender, forcing the pass, but ready for it. Saric in rhythm for 2. Dario needed that. Missed his first 4 from the floor, all from the outside, and the Sixers are down 9.
You can see him shaking his head a little relieved, finally able to get one to go. He's got to find other ways to measure his success besides knockdown jumpers.
Tobias Harris now 2 for 2 from beyond. Although Pope tried to take the offensive foul from Covington. Sixers give it up anyway.
JoJo had Gerald on the baseline, just unable to get it to him in the back cut.
It's hard to watch. Last week, I showed you straight up one-on-one with the Boston Celtics and how far they were playing off when it came to shooting the 3. This week, you're seeing off transition, you're seeing half-court sets, and you're also seeing off turnovers. It's absolutely disgusting to watch. And once again, Rodriguez, you're a point guard. Did you really think that you really fell for Ishmael doing like this real quick, and you're going to jump up in the air, and then he has to pass it off, and Joel Embiid, no hustle, just walks over and does this. Knocks down a 3. It's hard to watch. It just is. We've seen this. Like I said, this goes back not just to players, but coaching, okay? This goes back from Mo Cheek's era, Doug Collins era, all the way up to Brett Brown, his number of seasons being here. This is not getting fixed. It's not. And you say, well, it's the preseason. They did this during the regular season, too. Could you imagine if this happens during it? This is the Detroit Pistons. Could you imagine a better team who successfully shoots threes at an alarming rate playing this way? It's hard. It's hard to watch. And the Sixers, they're not going to get better. They don't seem to get better. You got Ben Simmons, who we don't know what they're going to do with him just yet. All right. Besides, I can't cheer for him anyone now that we know that he's on steroids. Can't do that. All right. Like I said, you don't know what's going on. Brett Brown came out not too long ago and said there's many factors here at play when it comes to the Sixers. Some guys are restricted free agents. Some guys are, just restricted in general in their play because of preseason, which I can understand. Like I said, Embiid has to be restricted because of health issues. I get that, all right? But there's, the squad that you have out there is just, they're not contenders again this year. I know a lot of us thought, okay, they're still going to lose a lot of games, but at least it'll be exciting. They'll try and keep it close. Yeah, not going to happen either. All right? Of course, this is before Simmons got hurt, and we found out all this stuff about him. So, whatever. The fact is, this is not going to go well. Of course, we haven't really seen Okafor. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see what happens when the regular season come out there, with the stars come out there. But yeah, you got those bigs out there. But those bigs are not going to be able to defend the three-point line. I told you before, this is the problem I'm having with them right now. The guards can't do their job. I'd rather take McCullough over Rodriguez at this point. And McCullough's not that great either. But you know what? At least he keeps his ass on the ground. At least he don't jump up in the damn air. This is not well. But speaking of basketball, some of you guys wanted me to shoot some more video about what's going on here in the neighborhoods. So once again, we have a situation here over on Kensington Avenue. That's right, at a charter school. You should see the way these basketball courts look.
And here we are at another basketball court down in Kensington. Just to let y'all know, this used to be a school here where kids used to play all the time. Just to show y'all, that's the charter school right there. So the kids will come over from the charter school and play on this court. But as you can see, hasn't been taken care of. Mind you, it's only been a year. They had rebuilt this, as you can see, fresh new backboards. Been here for a year. A year. That's right. And I just want to show y'all exactly what's going on with the charter school. And then look, nothing. Fresh new backboards. Look at this. As you can see, they took care of the walls. They tried to do right by the community. And for some reason, we don't know what's going on. This goes to show you, let's get a little bit closer, all right? This goes to show you that something happened here. And now I'm going to be looking for answers. Of course, I'm going to have to go through the neighborhood and ask what's going on. Because there's no way that for years, and I mean upon years, that this charter school right here always had kids here. Uniforms and all, running around here. This is where they play basketball and stay safe. Now, they don't have anywhere to go. I have no idea what's going on.
So, like I said, I would go and look into the community. I went and talked to a number of ball players around there. I went and talked to a number of people that, that have eyes on the community, that live in the area, all right? And they were telling me that the upkeep for this stopped in the summertime. That's right. So, just that X amount of months. The reason why it was being built, I see fresh new backboards. They were doing the upkeep, apparently, from winter when it was snowing, from winter to spring. That's what they were doing. That's when they were building up all the stuff, upkeep. And apparently, once the kids got out of school, they stopped the upkeep. And as you can see, that's what it looks like now. And then afterwards, they just abandoned it altogether. And apparently, they have something. I'm going to go and record this week on what it apparently looks like. They have something apparently on their other side of their school where they have basketball courts. But for what they're telling me, they're really cheesy. All right, so they're not like even into the ground. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm going to go over there and record and see what's going on. But you got to be kidding me that you went and spent the money, all right, to get these courts, as you see, that playground general, because it wasn't just for basketball. It was for the kids to play overall. They had a large space to play in. So it was one of those things where you were tending to it and you were making it better because before it was destroyed and you spent the money to do this and then come summertime, because no one's in school, you just stop? That makes no sense. We're in October now, all right? This should have been taken care of. The kids should be able to play there. So they really don't have anywhere to play right now at this charter school. Like I said, next week I'll record. I'll try to go over to their other side and see what's going on, because apparently that's where they're doing their stuff now. Hopefully, like I said, it better not be cheesy as shit. For what I'm hearing, it is. So it better not be. And I will, like I said, next week you will have video on that. I promise you, you will. Okay? Now, I want to move on. We need to talk about boxing real quick. Real quick thing about boxing. I shouldn't say quick because it's a real thing that happens with boxers. For those who don't know, Adrien Broner. I know a lot of people say, "Can man," he has so much confidence in himself. For those who don't know, Adrien Broner was going to attempt suicide not too long ago. That's right. Apparently, he posted photos on his Instagram with guns and stuff, saying that he's ending it and he's going back home and he's done. He's tired of life, pretty much. That's right. I'll put the link in the info bar for that. All right. And it took Floyd Mayweather apparently to come out and try and stop him. So apparently, Floyd Mayweather is watching over him, mentoring him. He's actually training him for his next fight, because for those who don't know, in August, Adrien Broner at one point said he was done boxing in August. And he was like, nah, I'm just playing. You know what I mean? And people took it serious. And, at one point. So then when he did that, now that he had this suicide attempt, people were saying, oh, Adrien Broner was faking that too, because he faked that he was going to quit boxing. But for what we're hearing, no, he didn't. He wasn't faking. You know what I mean? Like his friends, they called the police. You know what I mean? Floyd came out and tried to help him. And I said a lot of people, oh, well, he was faking suicide, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't faking it. He wasn't. This is something he was going to attempt. So it's almost like a cry for help. And I want to talk about this a bit because, for those who don't know, fighters, and it's about boxing, fighters are at high risk for depression. All right? There's going to be a link in the info bar that talks about this. All right? And it's a column about being a candidate for developing depression, during fighting and actually after fighting. What do you do? Life after fighting, what do you do? And people have to understand that you are programmed when you are in a competitive sport, all right? I'm not talking basketball, football. I'm talking about actual fighting competitively. They reprogram your brain, okay? That's what they do. Everything. And like I said, I put it like this. If it wasn't for YouTube and talking to, and having a real job and other stuff, you look at professional fighters, they have one thing. Fight, fight, fight. All right? If you don't have anything else going on in your life, you get into this hole. It's a dark hole that you go into that is just, that's all you know is to punch people. That's what you do 24/7. You eat this, you live it, you breathe it, you train and you punch people. That's what you do. And even though, in my case, you still have that mentality because that's what they train you. They program you to punch people. Train, punch. That sometimes is the only answer you know, to punch people. It kind of devolves you, you know what I mean? To an extent, like I said, you're still using the tactics that you learn in the ring, but devolve you in the outside world of certain situations. So all you know is to punch. It's the same thing. You probably remember back in the day when Tyson, he's outside, he jumped over the car, he's going to fight such and such. That's all you know. That's all you do. You fight, you fight, you fight. Every day, 24/7, that's what you do. You know what I mean? And I can see where depression would set it. Because, it's, you keep thinking to yourself when this happens, there's got to be something better in this. It's got to be a bigger payoff. People have to understand, especially in boxing, all right? You are going to put in more than what you get back, all right? You're going to put in 10 times more than what you get back. And I can see that being the depressing part. Not to mention getting punched in the face all the time. And look, it's part of the sport. That's the thing. You have to expect to get punched. Like I said, it gets to a point where you get punched and you smile at it. It's not like you're fighting the everyday wannabe tough guy who works out and thinks, I just got punched. That's it. I did this. Or I punched a guy. I feel great about myself. You don't have time to do that in boxing. You punch a guy. You're expecting to punch the guy. So, for example, when you're training with guys who are new and they punch a person, they'll stop and pose, or in that punch, or they'll stop and smile about it. And you're like, fuck you smiling about? I'm still coming at you. And it doesn't kick into them oh shit, he's still coming at me. It's one of those things where they don't realize it until they pay for their punishment. You punch and you pose like it's some type of action movie or whatever, and then you're hit with 3-4 punches, you realize, wait a minute, what just happened there? You know what I mean? They have to learn the hard way. It has to, reprogramming. Sometimes you don't get that programming until certain things happen, until you're punched, until you do a defense drill. You know what I mean? You get a lot of guys who come in who want to be boxers, but don't like to get punched. You know what I mean? It's something you have to expect. So when they get punched, you do this, and you turn their back, and all that stuff. They're not used to being punched. And you get to a point where it's okay, you have to break that from them. You know what I mean? You have to break that. Or like when people blink when they're punched, you have to break that. Because if not, you're going to get destroyed in combos. If I punch you once and you blink, that time you're blinking, I'm getting ready to throw another one because you can't see the next one coming. Same thing with guys who don't like to get punched. Here, 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 and they're doing this. And guess what? You're leaving yourself open. When you turn your back and do like this, you can't see where I'm coming. Or any opponent for that matter. You don't know what they're going to do next because you're not watching. It's one of those things where I know it's tough, and I always tell people this when you're training with them. It's tough to break that habit because you're not used to being punched. You're so programmed in real life to, if someone hits you, hit them back right away. Or someone shouldn't invade your space or stuff like that. You're so programmed to that so much that when you get into a ring, it's completely different. Now you're getting hit 2-3 times and you don't know what you're doing. And some people use anger, I've noticed as of late, to fight back. Oh, I'm getting punched too much. I gotta use this anger to fight back. You get sloppy. You can't do that. You have to stay technical. A lot plays into what's going on. So when guys fight and they lose, you gotta think, they've already trained for 3, 6, sometimes 8 months, depending on, they could be training for a year. And then they lose, it can put them back in that hole of depression. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on in their family life. You don't know what's going on with their financial situation. You don't know what, the critics are saying, if he deserves another fight or whatever. You don't know. There's a number of factors that could put boxers into that hole. You know what I mean? Even if you just do it every day, you know what I mean, for a year or 2 years, you realize you become a different person. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. People who don't do it don't understand that. And they don't understand it until it actually happens to them, you know what I mean? Until they come across the wrong person and it's like, yeah, you just got your ass whipped. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. So, it's a very serious issue. And for Adrien Broner, as we know, a guy who's always a showman, a guy who's always cocky or whatever, when he gets in the rings full of confidence, and he gets to a point where he wants to kill himself, there has to be better mental health for this sport and its fighters. You know what I mean? Like, look, it's bad enough that, sometimes the paydays aren't great. It's bad enough that sometimes your promotions will fuck you over. But to have this happen and then to have fighters, put their lives on the risk, you put your life on the risk every time you go out there to fight. And it could be an everyday spar. You put your life on risk. You could do something to your neck. You know what I mean? You can get concussion. You can get worse than a concussion depending on how hard you're hit. Yeah, people don't understand. Just because you're wearing headgear, all right, look, you're still going to feel the impact of a punch. It's not just, I got headgear, I'm not going to really feel it. Oh, no, you're going to fucking feel it. All right, you're still going to feel it, all right? But imagine if you didn't have the headgear on. It makes it worse. So you have to understand, there are seasoned guys who have done this for years and years and years. And sometimes they get tired of the act. Sometimes, there's so many factors into what could cause depression. And I think that there needs to be better mental health for athletes all around. Because they have to deal with so much. But especially in boxing, where you're getting punched. And we've seen guys, they get punched, and I'm fine. They go to the hospital, and they die in the hospital. Like, nah, man. That could be anybody. So, it's a very sad tale. But I feel as though every boxer, no matter if you're just training, whether you just want to learn self-defense, whether you want to compete, I think everybody goes through it. To some point, one point, in time, they go through it. It's almost like it's a given. You have to. I know guys that have trained for so long, and you get to a point where you're like, I'm tired of shit. You know what I mean? But then they don't know what else to do. You do it every day, and then you come home, and it's like you feel as though you shouldn't be home. You feel as though you should be there. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things. And don't. And I've talked about this before, but forget talking to anybody. Like, communicating with people, because they don't understand what you're going through. You know what I mean? And then you have people who say they support you, but they never want to see your fights. They never ask how you're doing. They never say, you should be careful. Nothing. It's nothing. You know what I mean? So then you have to start questioning who's really on your side. It's one of those things where there's a number of factors of every person you talk to and every person you train with, and it gets to a point where you can how can I put this? Abandon your family. You can abandon your friends because you feel as though they're not in your corner, and your fight team and your fight club become your family and friends because they're always there. They know what you're going through, your ups and downs, and they're always there for you. It's one of those things where it's a very distorted view of reality when you train and when you when you're competing. It takes a lot. So when you go up against, when you see these guys, let's say you see these guys online and you talk about they want to fight or whatever, they don't have any training, they're just angry at somebody, they want to fight. I'm thinking to myself, you have no fucking idea. You know what I mean? Like I said, take a punch and smile, as opposed to a guy taking a punch and getting angry because you punched him. It's you know, for training, it's part of the game. It's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get punched. Matter of fact, I'm going to let you punch me so that I can get a bigger punch off of you. It happens. You know what I mean? You can ask any type of person who's ever trained, oh, you want to throw a lazy jab out? I'm going to come over the top. I'm going to let you hit me with that lazy jab, then come over the top and hit you with a bigger punch. It's strategy. It's tactics. I think a lot of people don't understand that. There's a lot to this fight game that a lot of people don't understand. But I'm hoping that Adrien Broner does well. I mean, I'll put the link in the info bar. It's not just, about fighting depression, but link in the info bar where Floyd is training him, and you can actually see the training that's going on with Floyd and Adrien Broner, who he's fighting, and how Floyd's like, this is going to be easy today, and Floyd's like, just teeing off on the guy. I mean, Adrien Broner's just teeing off on the guy, but that's what his sparring partner's supposed to do. He's supposed to give him certain situations and simulate certain things. You know, you want the fighter to be, the guy you're going up against. Sometimes he's got to be defensive. He's got to put his hands up and go up against the ropes, so you know how to react in that situation. You know what I mean? There's a number of drills you have to run when you're doing boxing. And you have to simulate for everything that's accountable. You know, when it comes to your fighter's height, his weight, when it comes to his skills, when it comes to certain situations, so you know how to handle it. There's a lot to this, and expect to get punched all damn day, because that's the only way you learn. That's how you know. Like, you have guys who fight down here. Oh, you want to fight down here? Okay, I'm going to make sure that you eventually learn how to keep your hands up. The only way you're going to learn how to keep your hands up, you can only tell a person so many times, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. You got to punch them. So they know, okay, I can't throw this punch and not keep my hand down. I got to bring it right back. This is the only way they're going to learn. Expect to get punched during training. A lot. A lot. Just saying. Anyways, I'm done for a day. It's just sad to see what's going on with Broner. It really is. You don't want that on any type of fight. No matter how you feel about the guy, always a show-off or whatever. No matter how you feel, you don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Not to mention when fighters, you will talk about depression, when fighters get setbacks. We're not going to talk about that. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I'm done for the week. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Once again, Eagles fans, get ready for Minnesota. Try and put this behind you. Do not overreact. Please don't overreact, because then you're just looking for attention. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.